India could emerge as an energy superpower with clean energy export that set to rise to the 500 billion US dollar over the next 20 years timeline. If in the last 20 years we have seen that India's emergence as an IT superpower, the next 20 years it's expected that along with the technology, along with the technological advancement and the supreme dominance in the IT industry sector across the globe, India also become a new field and emerge as a new superpower in a different field, and that may be the energy superpower. And it mark the emergence as a superpower in the energy and the life for the superpower in the life science sector, and that the fact that is going to be a future in India's economic dominance and the rise for the superpower factors, and that the issues have been generated, and the three factors that the entrepreneurial spirit, the technological entrepreneurship, the startup industry, the booming startup industry, and the race to the India's 100 unicorn that very soon has been achieved, and that could lead to the technological dominance for the India's, and this spirit, proactive and forward-looking policy that support and actions from the government and assure those financing options that will drive India's emergence as an export hub for the green energy, for the alternative fuel, the new sources of energy as the renewable energy sources, and those development and the market growth, the capitalization on the new energy sector that is also known as alternative energy sources or green energy resources. We have foreseen that at least 20 to 30 new Indian companies in the energy and tech space, which will grow as big as many important industry leaders in India, and that's not bigger in the next 10 to 20 years. We have seen that many different fields, including the technology, IT sector, the new energy sector, the green energy sector, that will emerge India in the field of this superpower dominance. This status has been acquired, and that will be the future of India's economy and the booming in the Asian market. The plan to boost India's renewable energy capacity and that also produce the green hydrogen, that is a cost of $1 per kg. The nature of the Indian economy that is very much complex and not an informed and dedicated set of measures that can be the step forward to ensure that inclusive growth, and the expert that recommend the following steps. That's very important sector. They have some opinion that the focus that needs to be on the medium term consolidations and the long term objective, that instead of looking at the short term revival, the asset monetizations, the privatizations and disinvestment that coupled with the manufacturing industry and the export that lead to the growth that can solve the twin challenges of the unemployment and the resource scarcity, the crunch in the resource segment. We have to figure it out, and we have to make those policy, and that has the clear target to achieve, and they have to provide with a fiscal space for the policy that can put in the high growth trajectory. There has to be a sustained expenditure that has health and education to have the productivity and the healthy workforce, and the structure of an economic model and those factors that utilize the huge labor force in those areas, and that also has to be upskilling of the workforce to increase the labor productivity, because the Indian economy in the manufacturing sector is based on labor incentive productions. The manufacturing and the production system in India is based on labor incentive model, and that the requirement for the upskilling of those workforce to increase the labor productivity, for the increase of the production, the mass production, and that's the interesting factor that economic policy making and the clear target have to be set. And through this various scheme like PLI and other important factors, that providing those important subsidies to the manufacturing sector, that impose duty, and that the policies that of export promotion and import substitution mechanism, that are focused on those consolidation, and that is an important factor they have to placed. And the focus on those labor incentive manufacturing to create the sustainable jobs and generate those robust export growth model, the trade openness, open trade agreement, that is a very crucial, and India should enter into those more duty-free agreement with different countries so that it gets access to the market for its manufacturing goods, and that's important agenda, the policy that should be adopted by India and the state government that best equipped to implement those measures in areas such as health and education. There is a fair distribution of central resources with the states to empower them at a more localized level. A reliable economic data that should be released on time so that there is an academic and public discussions on different economic metrics, creating an atmosphere for the making holistic and informed policy decisions that can be made, and all those important steps that could be and that may put India in a high growth trajectory, and that the ultimate dream of $5 trillion Indian economy, that ambitious project and the target of $5 trillion, and that the key such areas such as health, education, and many other important factors in terms of manufacturing productions, the labor-based incentive scheme, the PLI sector, the semiconductor industry, the semiconductor based on those PLI industry, that all are important recognition to be boost for the Indian economy, and are facing those pragmatic economic steps and the policy that has to be precedence over the short-term political gain. And PLI scheme now primarily looking those sectors that are capital incentive. There is a need to reassess how the subsidies can be better used to boost those manufacturing sector that is based on the labor incentive processes, and those key challenges has to be maintained, and that inhibit those creation of the social security and the government spending on those important areas that I mentioned, that the asset monetization, privatizations, and disinvestment, those couple sectors, and those export-led growth, and those challenges for the resource crunch and employment, that the economic reform, the political issues that also involve that make India a brighter future in terms of economic and social aspect, and that's the impact that will also be created. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. Keep watching. See you in the next video.